Well, I think we are live. Hi, everybody. It's been a while. Nice to see all of you. Hey. So, we are going to talk about a few things. And you know what I like to do is always I like to go through some cards first. And we got a couple cards to be a reminder for today. And this one's a very interesting card, I thought, because I was just reading something about Egypt, and they're having a lot of windstorms, and the windstorms are bringing out scorpions, and these scorpions are stinging people. They said 450 people have been stung, and I think 3 deaths from these scorpions. So they're having this influx of scorpions. So this is a scarab beetle. Magic works through you. And then the next one is one of my favorite. It's the Stag Spirit, and it says take the lead. So take the lead. And then we got some simple ones. So we need to concentrate on health. Someone out there needs to concentrate on their health. I will honor the physical vessel that enthrines my soul. This is funny that this card came out because we're going to talk about this. Perseverance. We're going to do some perseverance. So someone needs to hold on. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to do. It's true. And then self-esteem. So self-esteem is another good one. And I possess gifts of the soul that benefits me and others. So I'm going to kind of go start right into it because I had some really heavy things happen last night, some heavy visions. I was started writing down a few things as a lot of times when I go to bed and lay there for a while, then things come to me. So the main thing that I want to concentrate on today is, I know we've kind of touched base on it before, but not all spirits are born. Some are created in originality, I was given. And many of us have our own bodies waiting for us either on ships or on worlds. That we're going to cover that today. And I'm going to actually I'm going to channel it, but I'm also going to close my eyes and give you the vision that I had last night. And then I think I've said this before, that Atlantis did sink, but Atlantis and Lemuria, because Lemuria was on the earth. Lemuria was a large ship that resided in the ocean, and it had all plant life and everything on it, but it was a ship, but everything resided on top of the ship, and then people could go into the ship. Atlantis was land, a land mass that was covered with water. So 2 different things, and we'll cover that one day. So Lemuria, I'm going to go into the Lemurian ship because I was in there last night, and I can tell you what's in the ship. It's large and round with highly evolved ecosystem. So it has a highly evolved ecosystem. So the whole system that was on top, that was vegetation. Before it rose up, all of that sunk back into it, and it closed around it. Because this thing is like huge. I mean, just like continent huge. So we're going to go into that. So we'll talk later. I know everybody's on here. And then we're going to, so I can just kind of go into what I've been concentrating on for today. So I hope you can hear me. If you cannot hear me, let me know. If you can't see me, let me know. Very important for both segments. So last night, I wanted to see my body, because I know I have a body residing out there. Well, the soul is here. And so I was honored that last night. So last night, I went into this Lemurian big ship that's as big as a continent. I remember hearing birds, like a lot of birds. And I couldn't see the birds, but I could hear the birds, which was very interesting. It was the level that I was in was dark gray, illuminated from the top, and it was vast. And it was metal. I say metal because I was walking like on a grate, and I could hear my shoes walking on the metal. And then a being met me, and he was like a very, very slender, tall gray in a cream and gold outfit, kind of like a monk outfit. He had a sash tied at his waist that was gold, and his hands, he let me investigate him. I wasn't scared of him, but I investigated him. He had 3 fingers, and the fingers kind of like floated. They weren't like with purpose. They just kind of like dangled and floated. And then on the tips of each finger, almost looked like a suction cup. Not sure what that was for. So he was tall and thin. He bent down over me, and he was a gray, but with blue opalescent skin. And all I could say is when I touched the skin, it was like would be like touching a whale or a dolphin. It was a slick, rubbery feel to it, but soft. And his head was elongated, but the front looked like a gray. I know that sounds really weird. The eyes were black, and he let me know, kind of like what we've talked about with the eyes before, where they're multidimensional, that his eyes are like the honeycomb catacombs, and their eyes are a part of their brain. So the eyes go to the brain, and all the information from the eyes or the brain is totally connected. So information derives in their eyes, which is, they're almost like computers, their eyes, kind of different. So I wasn't scared of him because he was very sovereign. He did have a nose. It was very thin and went out. And then his lips were the same width as his nose. So it was very small, but he had little lips. I could see little lips. He had ears that were flat. It just kind of curved around, but flat. And when you can see the holes on the sides. And then he did have a elongated skull. And I'll tell you more about that later. So we're in this vast room, and I'll tell you in a minute what was in the vast room. So he has me go up these stairs that are metal, and I'm going up in circle, up and up and up, and it's like a tower. So then I can look down at what is in this vast room. So I'm following him, going up and up and up, and we went up with ease. But I know it was metal because I kept hearing, he made no sound, but I made sound. So I could keep hearing my shoes on the metal. Great. And so we go up, and then there's like a little perch, and then we look down. And it was pods. It was people were in these pods. Okay, so like a chrysanthemum, flower where it has all these leaves that shoot out, or all these flower petals that shoot out. It looked like that. The pods were all round and circle, 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 went forever. So it almost looked like a flower. When I was on the level of the pods, I knew they were pods. I didn't know what was in them. But so it comes out of the floor, a tube comes out of the floor and goes this way. So it's like a T shape, like a elbow. And then the pod is connected to that, and it extends out. So the pod, the only thing holding that pod up off the floor is that thing that comes out of the floor and connects to the pod, and it goes out of the pod. The pod reminded me of kind of a pill, but it came to a more pointed end. It was round like a dome, and then went to a little bit pointed but rounder. Now the pods were burgundy on the bottom, and I say clear, but he told me it was crystal. So halfway through the pod on the top was crystal, like a clear crystal, and then the other was silver, and I don't know what that was. Some sort of, and it was the whole pod, he told me, was organic, and that's where many bodies reside, as their souls are on Earth. So that's why we have some major motherships in our system, because they retain our existence, our bodies, where we're going to go back to. Not all people are born of this. There's only, I think he said 40% are born of this way, where we let go of our spirits and we come down for purpose. We have a total purpose. The rest, where people go to heaven and continue on and go in spirit, that is the other half. So there's 2 missions going on Earth right now. So he let me see in this tower all these pods that went, I can even see the end of it. That's how big this ship was. It just went into infinity, it seems like. And it was amazing. It was just kind of beautiful looking, and well cared for, and everything was clean. And I kept hearing birds. I kept hearing the birds. I heard birds everywhere. So then we go down off that tower, and we go down, and then I said, am I here? Is my body here? And he said, yes. So all of these people on this ship were Lemurians. All of them Lemurians that have come down upon this earth, their bodies reside in the ship. And he said there's more than one ship. They're not all here, but certain ones are here. And all the ones that are on this ship, we all were born at the same time, like the same year. I was born in 1961. So all in the same year. So that's how they kept it organized, that all of us went down at the same year. And then so we'll pretty much come back up around the same time, he said. Not all, but unless there's other circumstances that happen. But yes, so that's how they organize it, is they work it around the element of their time. So he walked me over to mine, and I looked down, and of course I saw the blue suit that I've been seeing, and I thought, well, that's odd that I'm dressed. But he told me that it's organic matter that helps. It's not skin. Everything about you is organic. It's totally different than our skin here. So I was kind of translucent, he said, because my spirit was gone. And you're floating in this pod, but you're not, there's no water. And he says it's all organic matter that keeps you floating. So it's all surrounding you, taking care of your body. And like my hair was blonde and long, and it was just floating like water out like this, but there is no water. And it was very interesting because I look like a typical, what you would see a typical Lemurian look like. And I did have a signia on my blue skin tight uniform. And that was the signia of who, I guess that signia holds all my information. So that's how they keep everything organized, is that signia. And that the thing that comes from the floor and goes this way and connects into the pod is all the organic material, keeping everything clean. But information of my life is being delivered to them as I live it. So I'm not quite sure on how that happens. So then he took me to another place. He wanted to take me down out of that place. And we didn't go down in steps. We went down in a ramp. So we went down in a ramp. And so he was ahead of me. So I was a little bit taller than him when we were going down, and I kept staring at his head. And I really wanted to touch it really bad. And I asked him if I could touch his head. And he said yes. And so he bent down so I could just kind of run my hand on his head. It was a very interesting feeling because, how do I do this? Let's see. So like here's his head. I could push down like this and it was pliable. I could push down, it was pliable. It wasn't like solid, but the skin was solid, but I could push down and it was soft. It was pliable. It's not like when we feel our scalp and it's hard. His was pliable. And when you looked at it closer, you could see the matter of his skin moving. It was like flowing if you looked really close at it. And he said, and so I just kept touching it and feeling it and stuff like that. It didn't scare me. And then I think he thought that was kind of humorous. He did have a gold medallion around his neck that was hollow, but had a type of script. It was kind of hollow. It was like a locket, and it was round, and it was gold. And it had script on it on both sides, you could see. And then when I touched his head, it glowed. It had a beam come out of it. And he didn't tell me what that meant. So we go down and down and down a ramp. And then I heard the birds less and less as we went down. And he took me kind of into more of a control unit of what controlled the ship. And it also was vast. And there were other beings in there that were blue or like him. And they all had the elongated heads, some not as bad as his or as long as his, but they all were sovereign. I felt at peace there. And I just followed him. And we talked telepathically, and he was just showing me because I had asked. And so the control room that he showed me controlled all the bodies above. It kept everything organized. It kept all that organic matter organized. And he let me know that the birds that I heard, they were a part of the ecosystem for the ship. Not quite sure what that meant, but they were very important to the ship. And they were all types of birds. And I mean, you could just hear them. So they were very important to the ship. And there was people walking around, doing jobs, looking at things, inspecting things, none talking to each other, but they were doing what they needed to do. So it's very interesting, the species. He said they don't have emotion, but they understand emotion. They don't have the need for communication, for closeness, anything like that, because that's not them. Their intelligence. They do their job, and they have their job, and they do it. And it's just kind of just a different existence of these type of people. So I thought that was pretty cool. That's all I got. And then I think I fell asleep. So I thought that was pretty cool. That was super cool. Let me see. What else did I write down? I was going to say something else. So these motherships hold our bodies while the souls are down here. And that's why these bodies, we can't be that separated from them. They said they have to keep the ship at a certain distance because they can't like fly out into another universe with our bodies. Then it loses a disconnect. So they have to stay close. It's like we have this little thread that comes out of us that connects to us. So the thread goes up to them and comes down to us. And if they take the ship out of the solar system or the universe, then that thread is disconnected, and that can't happen. So they have to stay close to Earth while we're here. I asked them if they can be destroyed if there's problematic areas, and they said the problematic areas are on the Earth, not in the sky. Whatever, there's other ships and warriors and other beings that are protective of these, because this is the main reason for the Earth. It is the main structure of the Earth. And if there's other destructive beings coming through, they're getting here through some sort of wormhole that's non-detected by them, because they're not to be here. And some have filtered in, or some were left here from a long time ago. And they're, how do I say it? There's enmity between us and them, that they cannot do certain things to our soul or the ships that reside close to us. So I hope that makes sense. I know this is kind of weird stuff I'm throwing at you right now. Let's see. So when they said not all spirits are born, some are created in originality. So the spirits that are born, how do I explain this? They come from God's birth canal, basically. But then there are some spirits that are created, that don't have that actual birthright. And that's all he gave me on that. And many of us have our own home bodies, and they're waiting for us. So obviously a lot of us have our own home bodies that are waiting for us, which is kind of weird and kind of a strange sensation to even think about. But you have to remember that we are walking libraries. We are full, our souls are full of wealth of knowledge, because we have proceeded on in lives, universes for eons. We are as old as if there was time. So we are very well protected. Our souls are very well protected because they're very important. And there is a reason. Okay, let me talk a little bit about United States. There is a reason we're going through what we're going through. And they told me, because you've heard a lot of people say, oh, we're going to be saved. Something's going to save us. Some extraterrestrial is going to save us. And I think maybe one day that will be presented. But our problems here on this earth are been happening since the beginning of time. It happened in Egypt. It happened before Egypt. It happened with Adam and Eve. There is just going to be some bad mojo in this evolution of humanity. And so don't expect at this time, I finally figured this out, anything's going to happen. We're going to evolve, yes. but I was told that some things will be put off because there's a certain evolution that they see that is poignant at this time. And it's something that we need to sustain and go through. And so all of you that feel like you are from this, your soul is a Lemurian, Atlantean, derives from some sort of entity like that, you're probably right. You need to stay here and absorb. So you need to absorb as much as you can at this time. You need to not be involved in it, you not to make it depress you, but you need to gather information because that's what you're here for. You're here to stand back and observe and maybe have a voice, and you're here to help because you have great knowledge and strength and warriorship, and be calm about it because all at one time it will be present where it will start all coming together and you'll start understanding your mission. It's frustrating when you're in your awakening and you don't understand your mission because it hasn't been given to you yet. I'm just now, after how many years, starting to understand my mission and where I need to go and what do I need to do. Because before I would get information, I go, well, how is that ever going to happen? I don't see how I can make that happen. You want me to do this, but how am I going to make that happen? And then that's totally wrong thinking. You just sit back and you listen, and they will tell you and lead you on making that happen. Because if they want it to happen, you can't plan for it. You can't figure it out. You just ride the horse, and you're on a ride now. So your awakening is occurring. Your body is probably in the sky above you, and you just need to be aware right now. And you can ask. I asked. I go, I want to see my body. And so I was honored with that. So many of you want to ask me things, but you can ask yourself and you can be taken there yourself. And a lot of times I get most of my information when I lay down, and then I have to get back up and write everything down. For some reason, that's how I get mine. And then a lot of times I fall asleep. So that's not so good because I think I'm attaining more information in my sleep state. And then I don't remember it, which I'm not supposed to remember it, but maybe I've been shown it because I wake up in peace. But boy, the birds were just amazing. There were so many. So do you guys have any questions before I go into a short channeling? It's good to see everybody. It's good to see all you guys. Hi, Min Pin. David's here. Mike's here. Petri. In the Netherlands, yes. From my Patreon page, I recognize you. And my monitor of my computer died. And so I have to wait till I get paid before I can get a new monitor and boot it up. I think it's I'm hoping it's the monitor. I'm hoping it's not my computer that died. So I have my laptop here. And so until I can get a new monitor, it's harder for me to get into Patreon for some reason on this computer. So bear with me on my Patreon page for a little bit till I get a new monitor and see what's going on. So, okay, let's go into a channeling. And the person I'm going to channel is the person that took me around the ship. So maybe I don't know if it's a he or she. I don't think they have a gender. The only real place that there's a gender is here. I asked him, okay, I asked him if he had body parts like we do, and they don't. They don't have any of the sexual gender parts, but they do eat. They do eat kind of organic matter, I guess, and they don't excrete like we do. It sloughs off their skin. I know it sounds weird. So they don't excrete their food. It just comes out of their skin. It evaporates out of their skin. So they don't have like bathrooms or anything like that. So I thought the whole thing is totally different than how we live. It is totally bizarre. And then I thought, ew, am I smelling all that? Am I breathing in all that? And he kind of like wanted to laugh, but he didn't know how to laugh. But he was humored. I could feel that he was humored by some of the dumb stuff I was saying. So I don't think he has a name. Or at least he didn't give it to me. So I believe I am going to channel him. Now let me see. Is it possible for you to tell us which of the two missions that we're on? What does that mean? The two missions that we're on. Are you talking about, so David, you need to explain that a little bit more. So I'm going to go into channeling and then I'll let you work on that. Yeah, he's been waiting all day to come forward, so. This is a very rare opportunity for you to be here. It is a very rare opportunity for me to speak to you. Because of this vessel, I am here. For she had taken a tour of what she once has known. She knows this vessel well, where her body resides, where her comrades reside. In the sector level where she retains her once state is a sector of very special individuals, and that is the sector that I take care of. It's very important for us to take care of these bodies so when the soul returns back, that it may join this body in its organic, original state and resume its mission. As you can see, there's vast, complex bodies waiting. Now, all of these that I take care of have come down at one time. That's how we keep it organized. They all came down in the same year. So they all reside on the earth at the same age. This is how we organize the sectors of the ship. She is correct. There is a fine line that will connect your soul, your spirit, to your body. This is divinely written. This is a divine plan from the highest source. So don't think that we have thought this up. This is nothing to do with me. It is my work. It is the field of expertise I oversee. And you're thinking, how can one species, me, take care of these vast bodies? That's because we are the ultimate intelligence, that it only takes me to take care of hundreds of thousands of organic beings. It is hard for you to understand. You will, because most of you reside in my sector or other sectors of the ship due to your age. Now, the reason that this has happened is because all these beings that reside here have a certain purpose, a certain mission. They are comrades. They are soldiers and warriors, leaders, governesses, oracles. They all have a purpose to do. And they have given up their time for more knowledge. This knowledge will be for the betterment of all species, which is hard for you to understand the gravity of that statement. But the sacrifice that you are giving is counted in the highest of highs, in the holiest of holies. God, who you call God, watches upon each one of you as you walk upon this earth. Some have struggled greatly because they slightly remember their soul, but they can't attain that greatness upon the earth. And so they fall into the evil ways, and then they become a corrupted mind. The soul cannot be corrupted, but the mind can, and it can be misled. And then the mind will block out the soul. And that is what you're seeing here in your days. Because the evilness is not in the skies. It is upon your earth. It is standing right next to you. Little did you know that your angels and your guides fight them daily to stay off of you. Because nothing they'd like better is to break that tether from your soul to your body. For that is their goal. It has happened that the tether is broken and the soul cannot come back to its body. Then we must discard the body and it evaporates into organic material. And then the soul will go back into a heavenly state and be reborn again. This is very complex for you to understand, I know, because all of this is not anything that you have known before. So you're evil of evils upon the earth. Those men and females that walk upon the earth that are evil, they have broken the tether. So the soul is not tied to that body. And then it is not tied to the body that we caretake of. And then we have to discard that body. And then that soul has to start over. Because of the evilness that the mind has been controlled. And it evaporates evil. And the soul cannot reside in that evil. So the soul basically walks behind the body. until that body repairs and asks for the soul to come back and asks for forgiveness. It cannot happen. Do you understand me? Do you understand what I'm saying? As you can see, or as this vessel has given you, every soul on her sector is still maintaining themselves. They have not broken the tether. They have not been doused by evil. They are fighting strong. They are aware and awakened. And sometimes that's all you need at this time. You have your shields up as you fight what comes at you. This is good information for you. I have worked on this vessel, this ship, from the beginning of my existence. Hundreds, millions of years I have been here. That is how long and old this ship is. Since the beginning of man, we have devised this. I have not devised it, but the higher realms have devised it. Everything is in accordance to your God source, what you call your God source. We have no name for this higher power. We just know it and feel it. And you will understand that again one day, as you will join it. And it will be a caretaker of your soul. This is all I must give you. I can see you studying me, trying to understand these words. Take it easy. You will not understand completely because your minds are not there yet to that capacity. It even is hard for this vessel to understand, even though she has walked with me and seen. It's still very complex. There's few of you out there that can see, that have a sense of seeing, a sense of knowing, have comradeship with other beings, sovereign beings. I must go. Okay, we are separating, and he bows to me. Hmm. Hmm. So that, all this is really heavy, you guys. I'm sorry to come back at you with such heavy stuff. We are in the sky. We're in the ships. I believe most of you that are here, you're here for a reason, because the knowledge that I give you, whoops, come here. Sorry, Gammy one's up. Say hi. She needs a bath. You're here because what I give you means something to you. And if you're not here, or if you watch this and you're on, you're not connected with me. Those that are here and understand or seek knowledge of what I give through my mouth and my sight, then we are connected. Means you're here for a reason. Every person that speaks through intelligence, through psychicness, through channeling, if you connect with them, then you're meant to connect with them. That's why they're speaking. They're speaking we're not speaking for ourselves, we're speaking for you. So you are here because somehow you're connected to the words I'm saying, to the sight that I'm seeing. So when I say things, take it that it's a part of you, because you are seeking knowledge and you're seeking these words. I hope that makes sense. Who was that? I'm out of the loop. The person that I was channeling, I don't know the being's name. You have to watch the beginning of this because I describe him or her or who, whatever. They have no gender. It's an elongated skull being that is a caretaker of our bodies. And he has I guess it's called a scepter. And let me tell you, I don't know how one person can take care of everything, because that thing went like forever. You just couldn't even see the end of the ship, but you could see all these pods everywhere. So if you've come in late, you're going to have to listen to the first part of this to totally understand everything that I'm talking about right now. Good, Petri, good. Yeah, it's really, I think I'm here because I'm curious. But I'm here to give you information if you're curious. And sometimes I can read your souls, and it prods me to ask for understanding. And then when I come through to you, it's because you have inquired of it, and I am the vessel to deliver that information. I know it's a wide spectrum. I don't think there's a lot of people like me. I have, and I actually opened up my Visionary Readings 333 on Etsy store to start doing readings again. I stopped for a while because I was getting tired channeling a lot, and then doing readings for people and working full time in a very busy medical office. I just got tired and I didn't want to wear myself out. So I've been replenishing myself. I've been trying to get more of an intake of my future. And it's been told to me. So now I'm just on the ride. So I'm on the ride now of when it will happen. And then I will tell you more about it. Because I can see my future. I know where I need to be. I know what I need to do. I just don't know how it's going to happen. And they told me, don't worry about it. And so I'm not. Let's see. If we're from the sky, does that mean we're not on a karmic wheel? I don't know. And we're not from the sky. Our bodies are residing in the sky. I hope you understand that. Because our bodies have to be at a certain distance from us. They can't be far away. So our bodies are in the sky. Doesn't mean when we go back there, we're going to be on a ship. We may go to a planet. So I don't think we're sky people, to be honest with you. I think some of us have been sky people. Some of us have flown ships. Some of us have been in battles. We have so much in this soul of ours that each person's Akashic records goes for eons. And that is why there is mortal man at this time trying to capture souls. They're trying to capture souls for information. And so people are obviously dying because they're trying to capture their soul. So we have foreign lands that are working hard to capture the essence of a soul. And this is so against humanity because many people are dying. They've been doing this for a dozen years, and they're getting close to the electronic magnitude of capturing a soul. And they're finding, unfortunately, that they think they can find of capturing a soul of a child and is easier than a human. So I believe stuff like that is going on also in the Arctic. That's some of the evilness that's going on in the Arctic, is that they're really, other species also are really working to capture our souls, because if they can capture our souls because of the great knowledge that each soul attains, it's like gold to them. So, but we are not all sky people. I think when you feel like you want to be in craft, you want to be in the sky, you want to fly, I think you've had many missions through that, but not all of us will be on crafts. We will go to other planets once we join our bodies, because there is planets that are derived and made for us, so we can start the work that needs to happen. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. If we've had past lives, Minpin, does that mean that our mind went bad and we had to start over? No. So, okay, let's clarify that. All of us have had past lives. I think we've had eons of past lives. That's how our souls attain all the Akashic record knowledge. You have to have life after life after life, experience, knowledge, and not only on Earth, but everywhere. I think what this species was saying, which was very interesting, that, okay, I'm going to just say it. So you have an evil entity. I'm going to just use Hitler. You have an evil entity that has broken off from humanity. So Hitler broke off from humanity, and you could see that by what he did to humanity. So in essence, he severed that cord, that tether, and the soul had to walk behind him, because the soul has to stay, I believe, close to the body in case that person turns it around and brings in the spirit again. But the soul cannot reside in such an evil entity. So it did break the tether. So like Hitler had to go back up and be reborn again and start again. That's all I can tell you. I don't know if the Akashic records closed down at that time in that soul and they have to start again. It's a good thought. I don't know. It's so deep. I don't know. But no, we all have past lives. And I think you would know if you broke that tether, because I think you would be a new soul. You would be not an old soul. You would be a new soul coming back upon the earth. Maybe in some time in our existence, we broke the tether. I don't know. That's all new information to me. I can't answer that. Petri, it seems like having organic bodies is evolution of our souls, and having to start over, you may get a body later in our evolution. Yeah, I don't know. These are all good questions. I think I've given you a lot of food for thought, and I think I've given you a lot of information to question, because there's a lot of answers to this, and I think there's a lot of questions that our little brain can't think about, because we don't know how they think out there. We don't have that intelligence. We are just like little mice, and we don't have that intelligence. So now that you've given some food for thought, it's time for you to take it back and ask your guides, pray about it, think about it, and ask for an answer about it. And I'll see if I can get more information too. It is interesting. That must be what's happening to our... Well, I wasn't going to bring that up about the president. I wasn't going to say it, but yes, the tether has broken, and I know it, and that's why he's probably walking around like a zombie. And also, I do believe, I did hear, I don't know if it's true, but he's like a walking dead man. They're keeping his body erect and alive, and I guess he has constant diarrhea, and he'll just walk. I guess he poops his pants all the time, and I guess they have to clean him up. And when he was with the Pope, and he was the longest president with the Pope. I don't know who told me this, but he had pooped his pants, and so they had to clean him up and then meet with the Pope again. So he had to break off his meeting with the Pope because he went poopy all over himself like a senior citizen, and then had to have a meeting with the Pope. So he didn't have the longest meeting with the Pope because he was so fantastic or anything like that. Is because he pooped his pants. And so I've gotten some inklings of that myself with him. That I see him kind of in his pajamas, walking delusional around the White House, and he's just all full of poop. He's just pooping everywhere. And then there's people trying to catch up with him to clean him up. So the person that's our president is just a walking zombie. He has no soul. Okay. And when they say his eyes changed, and they went dark because the soul had left. So when the soul has left, I think and they had blue eyes or something like that, lighter eyes, and the eyes go dark, I think that's because the soul has left. I think that just came to me. But I wasn't going to mention that about the president. But it's far crazy times, and I'm feeling a little relief with this COVID stuff. I still have to do a nasal swab with my job. Thank goodness I've never gotten it. But I do have to tell you something that happened to me yesterday. I've been working a lot of overtime because we are so short-staffed, and I don't know why people aren't working. Why aren't we finding people for jobs? And even in the medical field. Well, the medical field, they're starting to close it down because they want everybody with the VAXX. And I won't do that. I will never do that. I did get some information on the VAXX. Some of the VAXX are saline solution. That's why people are getting COVID if they get it strong. Some of the VAXX have how do I say it? I'm going to say this because it's going to sound weird, but everything I've talked about is really weird. It has an alien bacteria in it. It has an alien enzyme. And this has been mass produced by something off planet and I believe it's come from the Antarctic area. There is some sort of labs and something going on under there. This is one of the vaxes has come from that solution, and it's coming out of that area, and it has a microbe that goes into your body, and it will expand in your body for a certain purpose. Not sure why. It's so weird. But if you, just so you know, that some of the VAXXs were saline solution. So you may be one of the safe ones that really didn't have anything in it. And I just know that they said there was a 40%. Now, this is through Spirit. This is nothing logical. This is nothing that's been tested, except for some of the stuff that I've been seeing where they have been showing what is in some of the VAXX solution, that once it hits a light, they see like these spider things coming out of the solution that have tentacles, and that's actually been seen. But they feel that 40% of the VAXX people had saline solution, that they didn't even have anything in it, that it was a saline solution, because it's all experiment. They are experimenting on you that are having that VAXX. And even with the swab, I do a nasal rinse and I do an antibacterial in my nose every time I have to do it. So, because I don't trust it, and because I don't know what they put on that swab thing to sanitize it. It could be poison, I don't know, but I'm putting it in my nose every week, so not sure. So, any other questions? I think, we've been a whole hour. Wow, you guys are awesome. I've missed you. And I think I'm just going to come back on. I'll let you know when the time is right and when I have information to give you. So I did open up my readings, and I'm doing a special reading for those that want a total in-depth reading on how I do stuff. I only have 3. I only think I could do 3 a month, because I'm going to channel your reading. Your reading is just going to be channeled by your higher self, by your guide, and any loved one. So I have a reading. It's a little more expensive, but it is going to be information that will be given to you totally from you through me, and I will totally channel that reading. I have several different readings. I'm going to do some less expensive readings if you have questions, to a very intensive reading, which is where I channel for you. And it will be I will tape record it and then send you the link through YouTube, and it's a very private link. What else? And can you believe it? It's going to be Thanksgiving here pretty soon. Really interesting, Petri. Yeah, something that VAXX, there's something about that, because no presidents should ever force their people to be vaccinated. It's a freedom, it's a choice, and why? And because they forced it so much, I backed up way away, because it was too. There was something really, really wrong. And I'm not against it. I'm not an anti-VAXXer, but I'm cautious, and I'm not going to put anything in my body that I really don't know anything about. And so I've been waiting, and now we're starting to see some truth. We're starting to have people test these things in labs. You should have seen this video that I saw of them taking it out of the bottle, putting it on a slide, and once it hit the light from the scope, and then they had a videotape where they can show you what's in it. And some of them had bright colors, like round orb looking things that just illuminated. And then one actually looked like a little spider, like a microbe spider, had like a head, and then it had these little legs, and it was microscopic, and it kind of moved to the side of the slide, and it actually lifted the slide up. It separated the two slides. It had that much mobility of organic matter in it. And what is that attaching to you? And how is that spreading in your body? And is that what's giving our young kids myocarditis? Myocarditis. I mean, think about your children right now. I really get fearful about this with children, and because everything seems to be aimed at children right now, and I don't know why they are so interested in our children, but something's going on with that. And I wish I could find this article. I might have saved it on my other computer. I'll have to look. But Fauci, in the early days of these viruses that were coming out, SARS, and the bird flu, he was testing these viruses on Filipino children. And in 1 year, it said in this article, 600 children died. 600 died from first being intentionally infected with the virus, and then him practicing his VAXX on it, and most of the children died after they got the VAXX at that time. And I thought, why would I want to take something in my body that children have died from? That would make me feel ill, just because it is so wrong and it is so evil. And I know all of it's man-made and man-produced. And if it takes me out, fine. At least I go out in a blaze of glory, and not conform to what I personally feel is wrong. And that's just me. Because I don't, if my mom was still alive or my dad was still alive and I had to be around them, then you kind of maybe have to think about certain things, and I understand it, and I don't judge anybody from it. But it is what it is. Yeah. And just because you got it, it doesn't mean you're bad by any means. Totally not bad. And I really feel that if you ask for, if you are ill from it, or have, what are they calling people? What are they calling them? The vaxxers that have gotten ill from it. We have a guy in Boise right now that was an athlete, and he was one of the star bikers, and he got his vax because he felt it was right, because he wants to travel and do his competitions. So he got the vax, and it put him down. It harmed his heart. He cannot ride anymore. He can barely get out of bed anymore. He's slowly getting better, but he will never be an athlete again. And he's 20. And so because of his heart is so swollen now. And he was in prime, pristine health prior to this, because he was a total athlete. And he paid very much attention to his body, and medical field was, testing him because he does many competitions with the biking. And so he and several 20 and 30-year-olds are stepping up to the plate that have been harmed by this VAXX, and they're just doing it for awareness. And so just to have people aware, and as I say, 40% of the VAXXs were saline solutions, so they didn't harm you at all. And so I hope that I'm not talking too much about that, but you should never be judged by it by any means. And I think that you can actually ask for cleansings too for it. So, but you would know, I think if you have any harmful product in your body, you would know because you would feel it. And I think when you being at a higher level, you would know it and you would feel it and you probably could eradicate it. I would totally think Reiki, I think, can totally eradicate it from your body. And teas, herbal teas, and natural elements. So think about that. All right, guys, peace out. Love you all. Everything's good in the neighborhood, and I will see you soon. Have a good day, guys. Love you all. Bye. Peace out.